Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Go Genius Guide series, and today we are facing against entry-level masters, 3 dans. 3 dans in Go. They are advanced players. They're not as advanced as professionals or high dans, but they are respectfully strong. They know how to handle themselves, they know how to make a plan. 3 dans have a great understanding in every field of Go, much stronger than 1 dans. Their foundations, fundamentals, and basics have been sharpened a lot more than an entry-level 1 dan. In today's video, we'll be playing against 3 dans, using different playing styles, and I'll show you what it takes to completely defeat 3 dans and fight against 3 dans on the Go board. Now let's get started. Okay, the first game we have the white pieces, and the first game I'm going to play some foundation, fundamentals, and a solid Go. Not the Moyo type, not the fighting type, just foundation and solid Go. Using basic fundamentals, foundations, and hopefully I can play more efficiently than my opponent in this game. So my opponent played a star point and 3-4 and enclosed the corner with a large nice move. And facing against this large nice move, I'm going to show you guys some ways to face against this large nice move. Black is building quite a bit of a moyo on the right side. It does look a little bit intimidating. But after the openings played, I'm going to show you how to fight and reduce this kind of big influence. So black played this one, and this is obviously the classical Josuke. There's nothing wrong with playing that, but I would recommend maybe attaching or even going over here. I'm going to play the classical Josuke, and it's completely fine as well. So my opponent does have a very big framework on the right side, and one way to reduce it is by using this attachment. This attachment does have some complicated variations. It is invented by AI, and I'm going to show you how by using this attachment you can reduce black's influence. Okay, black did choose to play the simplest variation of this Josuke or this variation. The more complicated one is black and Atari over here, and when white extend, black can connect. So since black chose a simpler variation, then life is very easy. We can just play the simple variation, and just like that, look at what happened. Just with these few moves, I have completely reduced black's influence on the bottom side of the board. So the usual move black plays is extension, but since black did a double hane, I believe there might be some RG or at least some endgame profits down here later on. The black push up obviously have to extend. I cannot hane because black can use a cut. And over here, I think in this position, I can hane because black cuts. I can jump over here. I think, okay, in this position, I'm going to extend one more. If black push one more, I'll extend one more. Okay, black went on the second line. This is very, very important move, very big move, because if I block over here, all of this will be my influence. But since black got this move, I'm gonna go and turn on top. Turning on top gains the potential and strength toward the center of the board. Turning at the bottom on the second line is better for territorial. So I'm going to go back, answer this turn with a 1-space jump. The reason is I want to make sure my stones have a base, it's solid, it has some territory, and it doesn't let black gain territory like from this direction. The black does a 3-space extension, and here I'm going to push up this way. So positionally, I'm closing black in and pressing black on the low side, and here I'm going to use a 2-space enclosure. The high enclosure, the reason I use a high enclosure is because I do have a lot of thickness over here. My stones are out over here, and I have a lot of thickness to play with. Black does a split. That's okay. I'm going to 2-space extension. Push this black stone towards my strength. Actually, over here, I think either way of the 2-space extension is completely fine. Black goes over here, and there is a little bit of RG down here later on. But it's okay. I'm going to keep building my base and building my territory. Black, in this position, black has a lot of weaknesses. This invasion is slightly aggressive, in my opinion. The reason is, I don't even need to answer to this invasion. I can just attach on top. I can just attach like this, and number one, reduce black's influence over here, and number two, make this stone very hard to escape and very hard to connect back to black's strength over here. With this Hane, I think I can use a double Hane. The reason is there's a lot of cutting points. Black has a lot of weakness. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Double Hane, threatening this weakness. If black goes back, then I have a free move. Now, you see these two moves exchange. These two moves exchange for these two moves. These two moves get the initiative and gets the potential and strength for this side of the board. Because of these two extra moves, it's much harder for black to connect his stones back to his strength over here. Therefore, I can now brutally attack this black stone. This stone very likely is going to get captured, it's going to die. And yeah, that's what I expected black to do. Black is going to Atari over here, and here I'm going to use a reverse Atari. Atari on the other side, let black capture the one stone, and I retreat. And I retreat back like this. So without this kind of exchange, without this kind of exchanges, if I simply play the Kosumi, black is very likely to escape this one black stone. Okay, black's very aggressive, he approaches again, and this is actually, it doesn't really matter. Okay, black is being really aggressive, he approaches, he splits once again, but in this position, I don't think I can even kill it because I do have a lot of weaknesses in the corner. So I'm going to play the most stable and most solid answer in this position, which is this diagonal move. It gets rid of all the RG in the corner, and basically what I'm doing is I let black jump toward the center. When black jumps toward the center and runs away, he's not going to get any bit of territory. And instead, I can attack black stones while I gain my own territory, while I build my own territory and build strength to even attack these two stones later on. If black saves these two stones, then I can attack these three black stones toward the center. So black saves, tries to build at a base and save the two stones on the side of the board. And here I can use a nice move. Stops black's direction, doesn't let black keep jumping toward the center, and I try to drive black stones into my wall on the side. If black jumps into my corner, it's too small, it's not urgent, it doesn't matter. I can completely seal black in and attack these black stones. So in this position, actually, my opponent haven't played any mistakes. Most of his play is very good, it's very solid. If black jumps towards the center this way, if black jumps toward the right and try to escape, I'm going to let black escape. I'm going to block over here, save my territory, and attack this group as well. So while I'm attacking, I'm building influence and I'm building strength for future potential territory. So with moves like this and this and this, it builds the influence towards the center, and this part of the territory, this center, later will get converted into my territory. That is the plan. That is a forward-looking vision and the forward-looking ideas behind every single move. Alright, so my opponent actually lost the game at forfeit because he lost connection. But in this game, in this position, I think it is playable for both players at this stage. Alright, here we enter the second game. Second game, I'm going to use a 2-star formation. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. And to face against some random or not common approach move like this, I can just use like a basic response. One space extension. Oh, I see. Do you see the plan? Do you see my opponent's plan? He's trying to play a Moyo focus game. He's jumping toward the center immediately, not playing the sides. He doesn't care about side or corner territory. All he cares about is a Moyo. So when you sense that your opponent is playing a Moyo game, make sure you position your stones on the fourth line, such as this approach. You don't want to let your opponent get the outside and cover you in on the fourth and fifth line. That will make you entering their thickness and their Moyo very difficult later on. So black is doing like very typical Moyo style player. He is attacking my stones very brutally, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to build shape anyways. Wow. Attach. So I'm going to build shape anyways, and I'm going to make sure my stones are also very strong. Push up, he's not going to cut because I'm going to Atari, and net. These are some basic fighting principles and fighting fundamentals you gotta know. And in this position, I'm considering whether to use this move or this move. I think I'm just going to connect. Very good. He's stopping me from making a base. Again, very typical Moyo player. Very typical Moyo player. Only care about attack. Brute force attack. Here I'm going to push up one more. And then after this push up, I'm not going to push anymore. Okay, this one does not fit the Moyo theme. Black should either do an extension or a one space jump and get more territory and bigger framework. So now that black just jumped away with a 2-space extension, it gives me easier choices and easier options to actually attack. It gives me easier options to save my stones actually. But here you gotta be also be very careful because black is actually aiming at this wedge. Wedge and cut. So you gotta be also very careful about this. So in this position I'm going to play here. The shape looks very ugly, I agree, but it does take away one of the liberties from these 4 black stones. And because black has one less liberty, I can use a Hane and double Hane. If black blocks with a Hane, I can use a double Hane. So that's a positional advantage for white. You might wonder why over here I don't care about the cutting point. It's because if black cuts, I'm going to Atari on top. Keep up this one white stone and like just simply Atari on top. And here I'm going to jump. As I predicted, he's going to cut. Okay, this is definitely a mouse slip. This has to be a mouse slip. I don't know what bro's trying to do, but it has to be a mouse slip. So, okay, now we have the advantage. He wasted a move, and here we're going to approach this corner. Okay, captures. Again, this Atari doesn't even matter. I don't need to connect this stone. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him a taste of his own medicine. You want a Moyo game? I'm going to show you how you play a Moyo game. You want to play Moyo? I'm going to show you Moyo. Okay, I'm going to play force line. I'm going to build Moyo. This is how he built Moyo, and now I'm going to build Moyo. I'll give a taste of your own medicine. And I'm going to mirror you so much that you realize that you are learning from a master. To my opponent. And to all of you watching, he jumps over here. What do you do? Boom. Jump like this. Follow him. I'm going to follow his direction. Follow his style. Okay, he plays over here. Okay, boom. Close off the door. Close the door from the center territory. He goes over here, okay, attach. If he harnesses, I'm going to cut. And covering like this. Beautiful. Completely following my plan. The reason I Atari from the outside is because my stones are all very strong and connected. Okay, this move is actually a little bit of a threat. It's threading at this cutting point. But I can simply, maybe Tiger's Mouth or connect. Which one's safer? Okay, connect. I can simply connect. If black cuts over here, I can jump in and reduce black's territory. Yeah, obviously black has to answer because I can push and cut and all of these stones will be in huge danger. And right now I'm going to jump down and completely destroy and obliterate the side potential of black's territory. And the reason of this diagonal move, this is a more of a classier, higher level move, is because if I simply descend, black can block and that's going to be a sente. But playing this diagonal move, I can use a Tiger's Mouth, reduce black's territory even more, and since my stone is already on the second line, I can reduce black space over here whenever I want. Now black plays very passively, very safely, blocking. I'm going to nice slide into black's territory. And over here, okay, since black plays this, I can even make a ko. This ko, if I lose this ko, you gotta think of it this way. If I lose this ko, I don't lose anything. But if black loses the ko fight, black is gonna lose 2 stones like this and lose the entire corner. So fighting this ko is completely beneficial and a very happy ko to fight for white. Black probes like this, trying to cut apart these 2 white stones. I have to save it. Very common sense. And over here, I think I'm going to push like this. If black captures the 1 stone, it doesn't matter. Because if I push through, I capture the entire center. Okay, capture back. I hope black actually connects. If black connects, I can play a 3-3 and the entire black group is dead. Or if what black should do right now is try to find some local code threats. But in this situation, in this position, the game is already quite difficult for black to handle. Nothing has died, but if black do live in the corner, like around here, then white is going to get like quite a favorable result trying to attack black's corner. The black pushes over here. Yeah, I have to block. It's way too big. And then I'm going to do a diagonal move. I'm going to peep this cutting point. If black connects, then obviously I keep fighting the code. If black eliminates the code, I cut apart the 4 black stones. And that's going to be way too big as well in this position. And anytime black connects, I'm just going to eliminate the code. This one, I'm even considering whether or not this move is actually a sente. The reason being is, maybe it is a sente. Okay, maybe it is a sente. Okay, maybe I'll have to answer. But that's black's last code thread. Black doesn't have any more code threads. Yeah, black doesn't have any more code threads. That's a really good sign. Yeah, black doesn't have any more code threads. I can just capture the four black stones like this. Or is that too small? Maybe that's too small. Okay, I'm gonna push like this. This push, basically, I'm trying to capture this entire side of the black stones. So in order to do that, I think this is a bad exchange for sure to start off with. But I think if I just do a connection over here, okay, black probably can live, but I can definitely get some profit. Such as, okay, what profit can I get? Maybe such as this push first. I'll push this one first. And then I peep over here. And the peep over here completely gets rid of black's eye space, and it also threatens to like cut with an Atari and go back to capture the 3 black stones. If black block, I can Atari and then I can block back this way. So yeah, black has to retreat, save half of his stones, and give me the tail. So black has to give me the tail, give me the 3 black stones in order to save his entire group. So here black does a nice move, but this move is another sente, this 3-3, because I'm threatening to push. And okay, although I can't kill black, not center as in the sense to kill black, but center in the sense that it's a very massive move. It's a very, very big value. The black plays over here. Should I attach? Yeah, just attach. Attach and attach like this to connect my stones on the third line. Yeah, this is some more advanced fighting techniques. So yeah, attaching over here and attaching over here, I'm basically sacrificing this one white stone. Sacrifices 1 white stone just so I can connect my stones together on the third line. And now with these 2 Ataris, it's basically making black into a very bad shape, eliminate any eye space for black, and I get 2 moves out here in center. And right now I just capture this 1 black stone, and this position on the board right now, yeah, this position is quite favorable for white. Yeah, it's actually very favorable for white to play on the board right now. Black plays over here, and I'm going to keep building the territory on the side of the board. And if I just play peacefully until the end of the game, then the win is completely in my hands. So 1 space jump, defend my corner, getting rid of any 3-3 RG. This move also threatens to connect all the way back to my strings on the top side. And this descent once again stops black stones from entering into my corner territory. This is a very nice probing move, but it kind of fixes my territory very easily. Okay, black saves his cutting point, he saves his weakness, and here I'm going to use a 1 space jump. This jump strengthens this territory and strengthens this group. Now it's time for the end game. You see, the middle game is all completed. The center of the board, the fight toward the center is all done, and now it is time to squeeze out the final last points in the endgame. So obviously taking all the sente moves first. So this is like Atari, 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 all this will be sente. So taking all the sente moves first and finding the biggest places on the board to play. And actually over here, I think I even have a Tetsuji over here. I have this peep, if black connects, I can wedge. But now it doesn't work, because after this exchange doesn't work anymore. Alright, black played this move, probably trying to cut apart my stones and get sente, but it doesn't really matter. Because, yeah, I'm just simply going to connect. And no drama, no issue whatsoever. I'm just simply going to connect, and black still has to go back over here. Atari, 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 Atari. All of these stones are dead. Okay, sure, black tried to make some mess, make a little bit of chaos, but it doesn't really matter. And okay. Alright, now black got a gote. Black did not get sente. So now I'm gonna strike. Play the point, black completely missed. Okay, if black run 1 more time, he's not a 3 done. Bro, who told you go? Bro, I demote you to 10Q right now. Oh my god, how? How do a 3-dan miss this basic? Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh, beautiful. Oh my god. 15 points. Bam! Sealed. Secured. Wonderful. This Atari once again is a mistake because it misses the fact that I can Atari and threaten this cut at the same time. This is a double threat, and this is once again something black missed. So in this position, yeah, the game's completely over. I think white's winning by over 40 points. Yeah, 46 points right now. And this is about time for black to resign the game. Cut. Yeah, black is going to fight a ko. But this ko is once again a picnic ko. This ko, if I win, I'm going to win huge amount of territory. And if I lose the ko, I wouldn't lose too much. Yeah, so after here... Okay, this one, I'm going to ask you guys, all of you watching, is this a ko threat? The answer is yes. It is a ko threat. I'm tricking you. Okay, here I'm going to play my own ko threats. This peep. Threatening cut apart 3 black stones. If I cut apart 3 black stones, it's gigantic. Capture the ko back. What is black going to do? Now, is this a ko threat? The answer is maybe. So I'm going to connect just for safety. Just for the sake of safety, I'm going to connect. This is another ko threat because if I capture these 2 black stones, it's over 10 points in value. And if black gets this one, okay, sure, it doesn't really matter. Capture back. What is black going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, where's your ko threat? I got good news. I got good news for you. He probably has no ko threat. Now, is this a ko threat? If you said yes, you have to make sure you understand the definition of a ko threat. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this move is not a ko threat. If black connects, I just capture like this and I connect all my stones together on the left side of the board. If black connects, I capture. What can black do towards the center? Black can't do anything. And this is the perfect time for black to resign the game. Good game to my opponent. And let's quickly review this game. So after this fight over here, black should just maybe like hane over here or just keep like, okay, approach my corner. Because I still have a cutting point. I can't just go down here immediately because I have a lot of weakness. I have a cutting point over here. So if I connect over here, then black can reinforce with one more move. And that is completely fine. So black, after black cut over here, black only gained maybe 6-7 points extra, but black lost Sente. And Sente in the opening is very, very big. It's like 12 to 13 points. So this kind of cut, I think, yeah, black definitely lost a bit of territory and some win rate. And after that, yeah, this once again was way too small. This cut. If black wanted to play, black should just like go out over here or just play somewhere else. Black stones over here is completely strong. My stones are also strong. So if you capture one stone, it's not going to make any difference to either of our position. It's not going to make you stronger because you're already strong. It's not going to weaken me because I'm going to Atari on the outside and build more strength towards the center. So right now in this position, the best move for black, the best idea is simply Tenuki, approach my corner, maybe attack like this or secure his own corner. That'll be a much better result and a better choice for black. And the game can definitely still go on. So after all of this exchange, yeah, this one over here, black definitely went a little bit more aggressive. Because yeah, black is probably thinking he's losing, which he actually is in that position. And over here after this cut, yeah, after this code is very easy to fight for white. And after this code has been finished, black really didn't have much chance left. Yeah, black's chances are very, very slim after this code has been completed.
Start.
Alright, here we have the black pieces. And in this game, I'm going to play a 3-star formation. Once again, my childhood favorite and the opening that started my Go addiction. 3-star formation. Here we're going to play the AI Josuke, and I'm going to try and build a very big framework toward the center of the board. I'm not going to have much side territory, and this game will be a battle of influence and moyo. So my opponent plays a Chinese opening, kind of mirroring the energy between against my 3-star formation. And over here, I'm going to extend on the sides and play a move towards the center, the Tengen. So build a gigantic framework, and I'm going to try to make my framework bigger than my opponent. Follow my plan, play the Tengen, and build a gigantic framework. Let's see what my opponent's gonna do. He attaches like this on the 4th line. This is very interesting. This move gives off the vibe of a 3-4 attachment. It's the same kind of meaning, but I'm going to play elsewhere. I'm going to play on the 4th line and build territory, build influence, while I wonder what Black's going to do, what White's going to do. While White's figuring out what he's trying to do, I'm already building territory and building influence and building a lot of territory. So this Hane I'm going to connect. Now my corner is completely settled, and White's 3 stones in the center is still not settled. Tiger's Mouth very good at building shape, but I'm going to use a double Hane. If White Hane, I'm going to use a double Hane. And yeah, that's going to help me build a lot of territory on the side of the board. White plays here. Obviously, I have to block. Blocking this move is a no-brainer. And here I'm even considering one idea. I'm considering whether I can cut and push out. And actually, I can do that. This is not too much. I can actually cut and push out because there's no ladder. My stones are all towards the center. And I actually get to capture this one white stone. So this is quite nice. This is actually very, very nice. So, should I extend or should I just capture? Maybe I extend. Extending the shape looks better. And after here, now I capture. Is I get to capture the very good shape, and later on the 2nd line Hane because it becomes a very, very juicy sente for me later on. Okay, White does 1 space jump towards the center, and here I can Tennoki. I'm going to follow what White did to my 4-4. I'm going to do it to his 3-4. Haha. You do it to my 4-4, I do it to your 3-4. Give a taste of your medicine. Yeah. Okay. White's playing on the 3rd line, I'm playing on the 4th line. I'm still building influence and building Moyo. Therefore, my stones, I'm going to position them onto the 4th line. And over here, I'm going to cap this one white stone. The reason is I already have a stone in the center on Tengen. So capping over here actually builds some sickness and builds some influence and restricts this stone's movement towards the center. White jumps in trying to reduce my Moyo in the center, but I'm going to attach on the side. White didn't build territory on the sides and went into my Moyo, so I'm going to give up my Moyo and attack White's potential and White's influence on the side of the board. The White extension over here is very good. I'm going to... Oh, White's actually threatening to cut me apart. So over here, I'm actually... Okay, that's actually quite a little bit difficult right now. Now it's a little bit difficult. Okay, maybe I'll keep push up. I'll keep pushing up. The reason is if I can simply cover White in, I can still have a good chance of building some territory out here. Alright, but now White cuts me. This is very annoying. This is really triggering me. And I'm going to cut him back. You want to cut me? While you're weak? I'm going to cut you back. And actually, I have good news for you. White's actually in trouble. White's in a lot of trouble. If White extends over here, bam! Atari, 2 stones dead. And even better, these 3 stones and this stone, these are going to die next. I'm going to try to capture these stones next. White cuts over here, the best response is to capture, because if I go out like this, it's going to give White this one white stone 1 more liberty, and I don't want to strengthen this 1 white stone. Because keeping this 1 white stone weak, it helps me like gain leverage and gain an anchor point to help save my 3 black stones for later on, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I block over here, the reason is very obvious, building shape, building strength. And after White does this 1 space jump, maybe I can attach. Maybe I can cut White off. I think I can. Good news is I think I can cut White off. Cut if White Atari, I can use a double Atari. Look at that beautiful Tetsuji. Oh my god. Absolutely beautiful Tetsuji. Attach and cut, and White walks into my double Atari, and all my stones are connected together. So White plays over here, yeah, obviously trying to strengthen my weakness, going out here, reducing my influence, and trying to cut apart my 2 black stones. But it's not brutal enough, it's not powerful enough, because I simply save my stones on the 3rd line, and in this position, I think the game is already very favorable for black. Yep, white jumps over here trying to build territory, but at the same time it helps me strengthen myself and helps me close the door to my own territory. Maybe white should play something like this, but territorial wise your white is already behind. Alright, I'm trying to invade into white's corner. White goes here, push, squeeze, and I'm gonna tenuki in this position. If I honey over here, maybe only make 10 points, maybe 10-ish points. But if white gets a honey and then like extend, yeah, I'll make maybe 7-8 points. So I'm gonna play somewhere else. Elsewhere is much bigger, such as this block. This block is much bigger in this position. If white jumps out over here, I don't have any ability to make territory on the side. And since I block this move, with one more move such as a J4, my side territory, I have claimed and built my side territory. What goes over here, yeah, pretty good. Threatening this cutting point, but actually I can just connect this one black stone instead. If white captures this one stone, I can connect, so I can just give it up. Okay, actually I made a mistake. I actually probably made a mistake. Okay, I definitely made a mistake over here. This group is much bigger. But it's okay, doesn't matter, whatever. I'm gonna keep following my plan to build territory on the side of the board. Yeah, over here I definitely blundered a lot of points over here, but it's actually okay. This move, yeah, pro move is a sente move. But this move is bad for the end game because white doesn't have this attach anymore. Hane, now in this position is where you have to be clear in the mind. You have to think about, instead of just, okay, answering like this with a Hane, you gotta think about what white's trying to do. You gotta analyze the position right now. So in this position, does black have any weakness? The answer is no. If I play over here, I'm only making a tiny bit of points. But what is white trying to do? White trying to play all over the place and tries to build a lot of territory and a lot of influence towards the center of the board, trying to build a moyo. So I cannot let white take the moyo very easily. So if you just follow your opponent's move like a little puppy, then it's way too easy for your opponent to either 1, make territory, and 2, take the lead of the game. So these two moves, I'm actually reducing white's influence towards the center. And after this, I'm going to Hane. Now I answer to this move because I've already reduced white's influence from the side. Here I'm going to cut and then capture the 2 white stones. So see, I didn't like play over here because if white gets this connection, then the center influence becomes way too big. White Ataris over here, white's threatening to jump down like this. But if white jumps down here, is this a threat? The answer is no, because both sides I am safe. So I'm going to ignore this Atari and play my next endgame. This is a center exchange. And here I'm going to turn this way. This move actually is quite decently big because it actually threatens to enter like this part of white's territory. And this Hane, as we said way earlier, 100 moves earlier from the opening, is a sente move. It's threatened as a cutting point. Now, this block is a gigantic, humongous mistake. Now, cut and connect, what can white do? White captures Atari, and then I attach over here. White is dead. So one careless block, and all of these white stones are captured, and they are dead. Alright, jump over here. Threatening to use a diagonal move to save the 1 black stone. Okay, push with a bamboo joint. Now all my stones are safe. Here I can use a push and connect. If white connects over here, then I can Atari and go into white's territory. So white obviously will capture. White obviously has to capture. Oh my god. Oh my god. What did I just say? Oh my god. White's cooked. Oh my god, his corner's cooked. How did he not see that? Is that a blind spot for 3 duns? Maybe I should make a video on how to overcome being a 3 dun. But this is the kind of things your 3 dun should never ever miss. Like 3 dun or Fox, this is the kind of mistakes. This one and this one, these are kind of things that 3 dun really shouldn't miss. It's too basic, it's too fundamental. I think if you give these puzzles to like a Q player, maybe 5Q, 6Q, I think they'll be able to solve them as well. And once again, yeah, there's a lot of weakness. White has a lot of weakness. Cut an Atari, and I cut apart all of these white stones. So with 1, 2-3 exchange. Now I think the position here, black's probably winning by like 60 points on the board. Actually even more, 78. 78 minus a bit over here, so it's about 60 points. Yeah, black's winning like 60 points already in this position. Yeah, black attaches, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to simply Hane, save my stones together, connect them on the second line, and yeah, the game is pretty much over in this position. Atari connect. Hane, Tiger's Mouse. Atari connect. Go down, connect. And yeah, this is actually game over in this position. It's definitely game over. Yeah, it's 100% game over in this position right now. There's no weakness in black shape, and white just lost a huge amount of endgame points. So alright, I'm gonna finish off this game and I'll see you in the next game. Okay, we have the white pieces again. This game, I'm going to play a territorial focus game. I'm going to play a 3-3 and a 3-4 Komoku. So, approaching the 3-3, you can always mirror their approach. If they use a 2-space approach, you can use a 2-space enclosure. If they use a knight approach, you can use a knight enclosure. That's the beauty of a 3-3. With a 3-3, you can always mirror their move. So, they approach like this, you answer like this. If you use a large knight approach, you can use a large knight enclosure. That's one thing you can do with a 3-3. So he pushes on the 5th line, I get the 4th line, and as long as he keeps pushing, as long as blacks keep pushing, this will be a beneficial trade for white. I'll get a lot of territory, and yeah, it will be quite beneficial. So black goes over here, stopping my direction, stopping me from sliding on the second line, but I'm going to turn over here. This turn actually builds a lot of potential on the top side, and after this turn it makes this stones very weak, because later on I can actually invade or invade on the 4th line. But here is where I leave it for later. Instead, I'm going to approach black's corner instead. He attaches on the outside. I'm going to use a Hane and Tiger's Mouse. I'm not sure if this is the right jersey, but it feels like okay. It feels okay. Jump like this. Yeah, this part is probably way too small, because here I can still jump into black's territory, and then I'm going to extend on the side. Basically, I've already gained some territory on the side. I've gained the direction, and this position I'm actually quite happy with this position right now. Black approaches my corner, and here I'm going to maybe use a pincer, a 2-space low pincer. The reason I use a pincer is because I want to make sure I build territory, convert this thickness into my own territory. If I use basic Joseki, black gets used a 3-space extension, and my territory and my influence has been completely destroyed. That's the reason behind my choice. Black uses a nice move to press down on my stones, and I've used a nice move to run away. Run toward the center, Hane. Black goes down, I block. Hane, I'm going to extend, and he probably push, I'm going to extend one more. And he push one more, and I'll extend one more once again. You push, yeah, extend one more. And later on, there's still a lot of RG. There's still some RG in black's shape, such as the attachment, touching and like cutting this way. There's some RG in black's shape, so I'm gonna exploit the RG later on. Black uses a large knight move enclosure from the corner, and here there's always a 3-3 invasion. With a large knight move, you can always use a 3-3 and live inside your opponent's territory. So this is how I'm going to do it. If black uses a Hane and Hane like this, I'm going to cut a Hane, connect, and then live. So yeah, this is probably going to very likely to be the scenario. Yeah, exactly. Atari, Hane, black has to block. I connect. Black to play a Tiger's Mouse. Okay, if black plays here, here's when black made a giant mistake. This mistake is actually for a 3 dan. For a mid to high dan, this mistake is quite big. But now I can Atari and cut apart this one black stone. And look at that. This used to be black's corner. Black has 2 moves in the corner. And now I have more territory than black. I've stole black's corner. I have more territory than black. And yeah, this is just a very good result for white in this position. And black didn't even get any sickness because my stone's still out here. My stone out here has not been sealed in as well. And here obviously I can cut. Black cannot Atari and go out this way because I can Atari. After black Atari's here, my stones extend. I can Atari and make black into a very, very bad shape. So if black actually Atari's over here, the game is already going to be over. Okay, pretty good. Black Atari's over here, not yet over. The game can still go on. Later on, this turn becomes a sente because I can escape this one white stone. Black plays here, and here I'm going to use a 1-space jump. This jump basically secures and settles the territory on the left side, does not give black any chances to invade, and it's just very stable territory. Black plays over here, and here I'm going to follow up with my plan from the start of the game, which is invading on the 4th line at the bottom side of black's territory. Only because I have this stone over here, this stone acts like an anchor at weakening these stones, and because black already has 4 spaces apart and there's not enough stones like on the top and not enough strength, here is a perfect time for me to actually invade into black's territory. But yeah, so black tries to cover it, but black cannot cover me in. Yeah, simply because there's a lot of escape paths. I can escape and use another diagonal move to escape. And okay, black attach, I'm going to Hane and Tiger's Mouse. So now I've fully escaped. I've completely run away and I've fully escaped. If black goes over here, we use a nice move. This nice move connects everything together. Now all my stones are safe, and with one knight move like this, it's going to weaken the entire black group. So here black is a bit careless. He actually didn't even realize his group is actually under attack. He's trying to brutally cut. But this cut, even if it works, it doesn't do anything. I can Atari, go out like this, and I can use a nice move. I connect my stones to my strength, and this cut just looks really stupid. Quite frankly, very stupid. So he goes over here. Okay, I'm going to go down. Descend on the 2nd line. And I'm going to play a diagonal move like this. This diagonal move actually stretches the cut. Okay, black plays here. Okay, that's actually quite a nice Tetsuji. That's actually quite a nice Tetsuji because black gets this sente and black can make another eye over here. So yes, black definitely lived. It looks like black has lived, but black lived with only maybe 2 points, 2 or 3 points. And I've successfully, for white successfully reduced black's territory, invaded black's territory. And not only did I not get attacked, I became the one attacking black. So here I have some weakness, I'm going to save it, just for safety. This stone, my group over here, although it's not 100% alive, but after a Tiger's Mouse over here and a descent, is pretty much alive. Okay, this move is to get decent, but I'm not going to care about running towards the center, I'm just going to live. I'm just going to live, very simple, very peaceful. And push here is a sente. Pushing here sente, if white blocks, this Atari becomes sente because capturing over here makes this a fake eye. And I'm going to Hane over here, which is like an endgame move. This is an endgame move and also make sure my stones are actually fully alive. And after here, I can fully Tenuki. My group is safe, my group is alive. And here I can play the endgame. It's going to block this with this move. It's going to block over here. Okay, he definitely invades. That's his last hope at creating something complicated and making a mess on the board. But simply I can attach, all my stones are safe. Worst case scenario, if black Hane is over here, I can Atari and connect on the 2nd line. But here, basic fighting principles, there's no way for black to save the 2 black stones. This wedge ends these stones up in a snapback or a shortage of liberties. Black stands over here. Okay, simple. I'm just going to connect. I might let black live because I'm a very nice person. I might let black live, but the game is already completely over. And actually, joke's on you. I'm not a nice person. I'm not gonna let you live. Goes here, bam! Boom! dead. Absolutely obliterated. Group completely dead. Atari, if you Atari like this, connect, Atari, connect, and I cut the entire tail of the black stones. The black goes over here. Okay, I'm just going to play a very simple go block. There's no way black can actually do anything in my territory. 6 is alive, but here I have 7. Having 7 is definitely alive. Okay, black and Atari, it doesn't really matter. I can even Atari and push out and connect. Maybe I'll just do that, just for the sake of playing with him. Atari this keystone. Okay, he captures, I captures. Very, very simple. And the game right now is completely over. If I do a quick estimation, it's 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60. 90 points for white on the board. Black has 10, 20, 30. Black has less than 40 points. So I'm winning probably like 60 points right now. 67 points, exactly. You're winning by over 60 points right now after Comey. This game is actually completely over. I'm not sure why black is still playing. He has 3 down in this position. I'll just resign the game right now. In this position is the perfect position to resign the game. This part is died. This part is alive. You live with 3 points. And black actually made some mistake and made some losses in the corner on the top right. Okay, my opponent resigned, and let's quickly review this game. So over here, black probably should just push up 1 more, or simply just like go out like this. This push is definitely not good. This push is like really bad exchange. But yeah, black should just maybe like extend out over here, or just play a nice move like this to go out. This is a much better positional move. Over here, yeah, it's probably all good. It's all fine. This part is all good. And over here is the first major mistake from black. First of all, playing a small nice enclosure would be much better. But playing a large nice enclosure, black should definitely like play a tiger's mouth like this. Tiger's mouth, if I extend, then black can just play a bamboo joint, something like that. So something like this might turn out. If I save the corner, black can just capture. I cannot run away because this, white just simply cannot run away. And if I extend like this, black can just do a bamboo joint. If I push up, black can just honey and go out like this. I still need 1 more move, and black can just run out, like jump out from this group. And this is probably like an okay position. This is definitely playable for black. Because white stones, I still need to save them and run towards the center. Black stones have a direction on both sides. And while black is attacking my white stones, black can weaken the right side. Black can weaken these stones. That's why over here, that was a very big mistake from black. And after I cut the stone off, not only did I get a giant profit at securing the entire right side of the board, I also did it in Sente. Black needs another move, and in this position, the game is already very favorable for white. Probably like close to 20 points difference from this position. Now play this move. This move is a more passive move. Basically, this move strengthens myself before going into like this kind of invasion. So this is more of a passive move, and then I go into invasion. And with the invasion, after honey over here, black doesn't need this extension. Black can just maybe use a nice move, try to attack my 2 white stones. Because attacking these 2 white stones is much more important. Extending over here is just a bit more very passive, and it lets me run out towards the center way too easily. So yeah, this is after this part, yeah, the game is pretty much already over. I lived in Sente, and I got the endgame moves, and I get a block over here. So after this position, the game was completely over.
Start.
Alright, let's play 1 final game. I'm going to play, so I have the black pieces. And this game I'm going to play a Chinese opening. Actually, I'll play a high Chinese opening. So a mix between influence and territory. That is the kind of game I'm going to play. So I've already got the territory side covered on the right side. White pincers jump into 3-3 immediately. Immediately jump into 3-3. White probably blocks. I'm going to push and honey and jump out. This is something I'm going to do. White blocks. Okay, push up. And which Joseki do I choose? Okay, I'm going to choose a push up Joseki. And I'm going to choose this Joseki. And then after white didn't push. White had to push over here. So since white didn't push, I'm going to connect. And with this connection, that's actually white does have some RG like in white's territory around here. So after white goes here, yeah, black gets center. I get to have center. I get to play elsewhere. This descent is actually center because it actually threatens to jump into my corner and basically take my group. I capture my group. Okay, white goes back. I'm going to play basic Josuke. Attachment. And go back. Hane. This Hane basically gives my stones like space to settle. And after this, I'm considering whether to jump or tenuki. I think with a tenuki, I'm going to play a nice enclosure. Because anytime I can use a nice move and live. Okay, why is actually, this is a very nice move. This move actually takes away all of my base. I'm actually not alive anymore. So I need another move to run toward the center. Because right now, if I tenuki and white gets to seal me in, it gets very, very dangerous. Especially in the life and death. Especially in the life and death sense. So white goes here, I'm going to play, okay, basic shape. Basic shape capping the white stone. And I'm going toward the center. Very basic stuff. Okay, white goes in a very more aggressive. White goes in much more aggressively, trying to completely take away my eye space. But it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to attach. White takes away my eye space from the inside. I'm going to build strength on the outside. So it does not matter at all. Then I'm going to attach like this. Or maybe I should jump. Yeah, either one of them is fine. Extend, and naturally I've already built some eye space in the center of the board. Is this, I think this is Sente. But instead of, okay, maybe this is Sente. I want to play this move because pushing down is quite nice. But I do not want white to Hane my 3 stones. Yeah, now this is definitely Sente. And then I have to be careful because white can Atari and threaten this cut. So I'm going to play something like this. Threaten to Hane this stone and keep my group alive. White plays over here, securing his own territory. And right now, I'm going to be a bit bold. I'm going to play boldly. Shoulder hit. Trying to reduce this entire moyo and influence in white's territory. Jump. 1 space jump. Towards the center. Atari. 1 space jump. Peeping at white's cutting point. White plays over here, threatening my cutting point. I'm going to connect. And then I'm going to use a 1 space jump. This jump not only is a very efficient move at building territory, at building shape I mean, but it also threatens to cut apart the entire white 4 stones. And white didn't see that. Now white's 4 stones are cut off, and pretty much the game is already over. After I play the Hane and connect, so I don't even need to connect in this position, maybe I do. Okay, I do need to connect. Okay, I do need to connect. After I connect over here, white still hasn't captured my 4 black stones. And in this position, I've already gained the profit of capturing for the 4 white stones. So right now, I can simply, give up these 4 black stones and build my influence on the top right side of the board. Now I'm going to use another nice enclosure, double nice enclosure, build a lot of territory, a lot of influence. And look at that, white only made like 10, maximum 30 points over here. White made maximum 30 points, but I gained like at least 10 points already. So which means 30 minus 10, white only made 20 points on the bottom side. On the bottom side, white only made 20 points. That's why this position is already very good position for black right now. So okay, white can make a coat, but I'm going to now attack these 2 white stones. Large nice move. Again, basic shapes. Very fundamental basic shapes. White ignored because there's a hanging ko over here. If white plays around here, I can Atari and this corner is going to end up in a ko. And after white plays this Hane, I'm going to use a diagonal move. After this move, yeah, all of these 2 black stones, these 2 white stones are just captured. They're fully captured. There's no escape for white. Here I know the perfect play in the corner. Probably white cannot live. But in this case, I'm just going to play very safely and let white just take some territory away. It's okay. It's completely fine. I let white live in the corner just so that I don't have any RG on the outside. Because this side territory, I have like 10, 20, 30. I have like 40 points on the side. This side I have like 40 points. And over here it's another 20. So, and then plus over here, 65 points. White has like a 30, 35, 40, 50, 60. and I have much more influence. Black has much more influence right now. Now, here's a basic life and death coming into action. Why play this tiger's mouth? Is this group alive? The answer is no. Black can completely kill this white group. I use a Hane. Bam! Peep on 2-1. And this entire white group is dead. Decent. If white plays here, throw in. This is a basic, maybe 2Q to 1 den level life and death. It's a common shape in the corner, and this is a life and death everyone should know. 3 stones on the second line. With a tiger's mouth, you can always use a Hane and Peep to capture this entire group. Now, this capture is not even Sente. It's a Gote. So I'm going to ignore it and Tenuki. If I place over here, I can throw in, getting rid of this eye. If I connect over here, I can Atari and connect, and this group is dead. So white trying to do all he can, try to make some trouble, make some chaos, but white actually can't do anything. So just simple tiger's mouth, and all of my territory on the right side of the board is very safe and completely secure. Probing move, another probing move, doesn't really matter. I just cut off the 2 white stones. And then here, okay, this move I've got to be a little bit careful because my group over here is not 100% alive. Although I can handle and make it alive, but since the game is already very winning for black at this, in this position, I'm just going to make sure and make my group fully alive. So that I don't have any more trouble and there's no room for error. White place here, I'm going to push. White place here, I'm going to diagonal move. Connect my stones like this. If white connects, I'm going to connect. And good news, I got even better news. All of these stones, oh my god, where are they going to go? Looks like they're about to be dead. Unless white finds this move. Finds the only move to escape. I think that's the only move to escape. Okay, push first and then go here. The only way to escape. Oh, and white didn't find it. White didn't find the only escape path. And now, my friends, here is the beginning of the final massacre. Push. Take away white's liberties. White has to play something like this. Okay, white doesn't even play. White tries to go for the capturing race straight away. But too bad, I push one more. You only have 3 liberties. And I have like 6 liberties. And the game in this position is set. Set, match, done. Try to wedge, doesn't matter. I cut on the inside. I don't even tie on the outside, I cut on the inside because I can threaten the cut to capture the 4 white stones. And here I capture the 1 white stone. All of my stones are safe and connected together. And after this Atari, there's absolutely nothing white can do in this position. So this position is probably time for white to resign the game. And so here is probably a good time for white to resign the game. But overall in this game, white actually played really well, except for a few judgment mistakes, a few judgment errors. Okay, so white resigned the game. Let's quickly review this game. So starting off with the high Chinese opening, approach going over here, this is very classical stuff. The more AI modern version is the attachment at P16. Approach white princess going like this is basic Josuke. Maybe over here I should have used a diagonal move. I'm not 100% sure, but here okay, I chose to use a connection. White goes here. I approach. This one is a Sente. Yeah, this is a Sente move. I'm pretty it has to be Sente unless I made a mistake, but it seems to be Sente. I block. White goes here. Basic Josuke, and I enclose my own corner. White goes over here. It's a very strong move. This move basically takes away my eye space and forces me to run toward the center. If I don't do anything, white can then, let's say I do something like this, white can then do a nice move and try to seal me in. Once I'm sealed in, I have to try to scramble for life. And if I do make life, for example, let's say something like this happened. I go down here, white goes here. Let's say, for example, I did make life. White's sickness toward the center is just too gigantic. There's a crazy amount of sickness and strength toward the center. That's why I cannot afford to let white seal me in. And that's why I have to run toward the center so that 1, my stone has a direction, and number 2, it eliminates any kind of influence my opponent might have toward the center of the board. Nice move attachment. The attachment basically helps me build some shape and build some strength. And same with this attachment, it helps me build shape and build strength. Over here, I wasn't sure if I should extend first. The reason I didn't do that is because if I extend, I'm worried White might just play it like this. After I push and go here, White can just Atari and cut apart my 3 black stones. This is something I was a little bit afraid of, and I wasn't sure about the outcome. Therefore, I didn't extend and simply extended on the outside. White plays over here, and this one is actually a little bit of a sente. If I don't answer over here, White gets this Atari, and it threatens to Atari over here and cut over here. That's why I have to play over here. This move is the most efficient way, much more efficient than connecting over here, because I can hane and capture the 1 stone later on. White plays here, save the territory. I play shoulder hit, reducing White's territory. And over here is where White really made a mistake. Once I jumped over here, White definitely has to connect the 4 stones. But even though if White does connect the 4 stones, let's say I run away, I think this position is probably a little bit favorable for Black. It's slightly favorable position for Black because I get to take away White's base and take away White's territory on the bottom side way too simply. So over here, what White might should have done is instead of extending over here, or instead of like playing a 1 space jump, maybe White can play something like this. Connect on the 3rd line, build territory, and keep my stones weak as well. My stones don't have a base, it has no shape and no structure, and it's actually pretty difficult for Black for me to handle my position and my 4 stones in the center. If I try to jump out, later on White can maybe split me apart. And yeah, it's quite difficult to handle them. Okay, peep, connect, and go down. Nice move. Okay, I'll play this nice move. This move is probably a little bit passive. I should have just played somewhere around here. But okay, White answered again, even more passive, because I'm actually not going to escape my stones. If White wants to answer, maybe White should answer with like a 2 space jump or maybe like attachment, just a bit more active. So after played here, White goes here. This sequence in the corner what White did was pretty good. Yeah, this one was a bit too slow. This one just let me capture these 2 White stones way too easily. And over here, the only way for White to make it a ko is by playing like this. And then I play here, White plays here, I play here, White play here, I play here, White play here, I play here, White play here. And this is a ko. Or White can play a ko. There's many ways White can play a ko. Or White can play a ko like this. Or White can play a ko like this. I go here, White goes here. And fight this kind of ko. So descending a 1 is the only way in this corner, the only move in the corner that White can make a ko. Any other move other than a descent is completely dead. It's absolutely dead. It's unconditionally dead. So White play Tiger's Mouth. This is a very basic, very common corner life and death shape. Hane and play the placement. Now, these White stones, and in this position, the game was already very good for Black. So the estimator said, okay, White's winning by 12 points, but this corner, there's like 25 points of potential territory. So after I play the nice move to save my territory and save any of the weakness, this game is completely over. There's actually no hope for White in this position anymore. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, 3 duns is where Go gets fun and dangerous. You can see the creativity, you can see the players rooted in deep fundamentals and foundation. The creativity of high dan levels is built on vision. They envision what's going to happen 20, 30 moves down the line in the future, and the player move right now that assist their future thinking. And you can see some of that from the 3 dan level plays. Or the 3 dan level, the future thinking is not as precise and not as polished, but their ability to think deeply and calculate deeply is still there. 3 duns. This is where you begin to sharpen your every aspect in the game of Go. You begin to sharpen not only your foundation, your thinking, your calculation, your fighting, your invasion, your direction of play, your dynamic thinking ability, but it is where you sharpen every single aspect of each metric. You have to level up in every single status, tiny bit, just for you to go from 3 dan to 4 dan. Same with 4 dan, 4 dan to 5 dan, 5 dan to 6 dan. Every single dan takes a lot of polishing and precision to make every aspect of their Go better, to increase their level, so that their level of Go can move up into the next level and the next dan. High dans is where the beauty of Go begins. It is where the creativity, it is where you can finally experience and appreciate the depths of the game. The next video, I'm going to show you guys and I'll play against 5 dan players on Fox. 5 dan and above is where players truly appreciate the depth, the strategic, the dynamic, the creativity, and the endless possibilities in the game of Go. You'll realize at a high dan, Go has no structure, but it is built on your foundation and fundamentals. Your ability to fight, your ability to decision making right on the spot is built on endless foundation and fundamental training. And for all of you watching, keep playing, keep leveling up, and the more you level up, the more you appreciate the game of Go. I'll see you all in the next video.